Yeah, g'day guys. Today we're going to make the body longer. That wheel under there. Let's get into it. Let's extend the body a bit. I don't know how anyone would ever fit in it. Must have been really tiny little factory seats. I guess, yes, they were little tiny factory seats. But there's no space. Like, I mean, the seat is back to as far as it can virtually go. And that's just a small car seat. It's no big super luxury sort of thing. Anyway. Let's get into cutting this side apart and make so we've got some leg room. And so the wheels fit under the fenders a bit better. Let's get into cutting that up. Okay, so I've got the good old toolie box or parcel box, glove box, whatever they wanted to call it, under where the seat goes. So I've got rid of that, and I noticed that before I go and cut it, I think it'd be a good idea to straighten the side, because if you have a look at this one, it's sort of leaning out right about here. If you focus on there, it's kind of got a big lean on it. The back end's okay, but right there is sort of hanging right out. I'll show you the other side. If you look at that side, it's nice and straight. Well, relatively. You can sort of see where the filler cap is, and up that whole side, it's actually pretty good. So I need to make it straight on the other side, so when I do cut it, it all sort of holds together. Just I'll show you what I mean. So yeah, she's out a bit, but what I'm planning to do, I'll put a little anchor in the floor over there that I can hook the little winch come along sort of thing, and I've made this little brackety thing that can sit over the edge, and I can just sort of pull it from there, or loosen it and pull it there, or come down here a bit and pull it there, just to sort of get it to, so I can sort of get it to pull over without bending anything completely out of proportion. So I will try and get that straight again. So let's get into that. Yeah, that broke. I don't know if it helped. Okay, let's try that again. Might put a glove on this time. Okay, so we pulled it in a heap, probably too far. I'll slowly release it and see what happens. It is better. Could go just a little bit more sort of down here. I might try that. Okay, let's take it off. Oh, we're so close. Well, I think the problem is, see how this mudguard here is higher than over here? See, it looks like it's on a lean. Maybe the floor's getting, maybe the floor is pushing it up a bit. I'm not sure. It looks heaps straighter anyway. We're sort of there. Oh yeah, that looks heaps better. Okay, that side looks pretty good, but it created another problem. It's made this out of square. Like it's got a little bit of a, not sure if you can quite see it, touching at the top, bit of a gap at the bottom. So I've got to push this top side out, and I can do that with a jack. This side is all still square, so that's why we had the anchor over on that side of the body to square it up. So it was just pulling the whole mudguard and this part, the rear tailgate mount. And some people would probably go, no, it'll be right, but then when I go to make a tailgate, it's not going to be square. So I really want it to be square and easy to work with every step of the way. It's like a house. If you don't build a square foundation, you're not going to have a square house, are you? So anyway, I'll just rig up a little jack to go from the top here diagonally down to the bottom, and we'll just push this side out a little bit, and then we'll pull that side in a bit, and it'll sort of twist it into the way we want it. So I'll just do that. Does that look sketchy or what? No, looks beautiful. And I can still get the square, which, there we go, now it's square, according to the square. And I'll just pull a little bit in here. Oops, something's moved. So we're still square. Go. Okay, we're ready to mark out the outside cut, and what that little tiny hole there, the little one, not that one, the one right next to it. It's a 1/8 hole, or 3.2, and then one down that angle, and then one down there, and then one right down the bottom in the very corner. Now what that sort of means is, those holes go straight through the side, obviously, and all I've done, here it is here, I've just joined the dots. So I can cut it from the outside. So that's meant to be straight down. So this is square off the bottom, and at the top it's square off the top, and they're just angles of the inside. Now I've done the other side as well. It's got the little holes in there, and it's marked on the outside, and it just misses the corner of the fuel filler, which I'll probably remove later. But anyway, for the moment, so I can now just get the old grinder with a cutting wheel and just cut straight down through it, and then cut across the floor. The floor will be a little bit tricky, like that's a bit of repair I got to do. That's, I don't know, junk by the looks. And this is where the floor crushed a little bit to get this guard straight, to square it all up a bit. Anyway, so I've got to cut across the floor, which I probably could do with a plasma, maybe. I'll see how I go with the grinder anyway. I'll start with the grinder, see how I'm going, but I'll definitely cut the sides with the grinder, and it'll be a little bit neater, or a straighter cut anyway, and then the piece that I put in there will be easier. So all I'll do is just move the cab forward and then measure the gap in the middle. I think we're about 380, 400, somewhere there. So let's start cutting. I'll cut across the floor, and then I'll start cutting the sides last, and then it'll just fall apart probably. Anyway, let's get into that. There we go. Jeep is now successfully cut in half. Never thought I'd be doing that to an old classic. So there's not a lot that's left, which is the original part, which is like this sort of, and the cowl and the windshield, and well, I suppose the bonnet's an original, a Willys, not a Mitsubishi. Fender's original. Anyway, so part of it is original, classic, but we're going to make it into a better vehicle. So let's hook up the tractor or something and lift this whole front half forward a bit. Let's do that. So there we go. I've just put a few braces to give it some sort of, everything's level, if that makes sense. Now it's not, this front part is a bit sort of wonky because there's nothing supporting it, but it's sort of semi-flattish, if that makes sense. And the wheel is, if anything, I could actually go back a little bit with the body so the wheel sticks a bit more forward. so it gives me a bit more room for bigger wheels if need be, like, you know, the gap between there. Not worried about the gap at the top. Yeah, I might go back another 1.5 inches or so. The only problem I'm coming up to is this point where the grille touches the steering box on the Pajero. I don't really want to cut out the grille. I don't mind cutting out the side of the fender there, but looks like that's where the steering box might have been originally. The other side has tons of room. Besides that, it's kind of at the right height. Actually, I could alleviate the problem over there with the steering box by just going up a little bit, giving a little bit more height. That could work. And then I could go back, it wouldn't really matter. At the moment it's just sitting on those blocks under there and those things that are meant to be bolted to the chassis on the original Willys, the Mitsubishi one. So I haven't actually measured that gap. Where's my tape measure? By measuring the gap that we got here, gives us 490. That's a long way. I didn't think we were adding that much into it. Anyway, that's 100 more than I was expecting. Let's see what the other side's like. Okay, we've got 453. So one side's a little bit out of square, but what I will do is, when I mark out like the angles and everything, I'll mark it on a piece of cardboard or something, or even a sheet of steel or whatever, and I'll make them exactly the same dimensions from this end to there on both sides. So it'll keep it square. So the piece I add in there, although these shapes are going to be different, it will be the same width. Like if it's 500, it'll be 500 at the top, and then the next dot down it'll be like 500. Do you know what I mean? And on both sides. Right, I've just sat this piece here so it doesn't squeeze in at all. I might put a tack on it just to keep it sort of so the sides don't move at all when I'm welding everything. Kind of looks the part, doesn't it? Looks alright. Don't mind it. Yeah, so this side must come back a little bit to square up. So I might just do that, and then that'll make this look a bit more right. Yeah, that side looks heaps better. Because if you have a look on an original Willys or even a Mitsubishi Jeep, there's a fair bit of room there, and the wheel is more sort of towards the front of the guard instead of being sort of centered. Remeasure this and then bring the other side in so they're both exactly the same, and then start cutting some material to fit in the middle. So let's get into that. we go, all marked out. Follows through pretty well. So I'll quickly just mark out the other one and then cut them apart. And then all I got to do is weld them in. Ah, easy, no worries. I believe my shirt caught on fire. Who'd have thought? Okay, sides are all tacked in, as you just saw. Relatively good gap, or close gap on this one. That'll be nice. And this side I had to do a little cut there, but it's all good. It's nice and tidy. And by putting that piece there, that's going to keep it straight when I weld it. And the other side, that's a different story. We've still got the bend issue right up the top there, which I can get away with. This side is all nice and close, relatively close, but I don't know where I went wrong here. There's a bit of a gap, but anyway, I can fill that. The important thing is when I put the straight edge along the top, it's true all the way along. It's not about the gaps or the thing I didn't like is, see that little dip down there? Yeah, I don't know what went wrong. I'll either have to add a little bit or some support or something. And anyway, you won't notice it when it's all done and painted. The material is really good to work with. Like, that's all 1.6, which is 16 gauge in the old money. But the important bit is the back wheel fits over that guard, and this one fits over this guard really nicely. So, and I got tons of room to put a seat in, and room up to the dash, and room for a roll cage, and all the fun stuff. And because I actually lifted it up a little bit more, I just put an extra block under there to level everything out. It helped with this power steering pump that I was having a little issue with. So that'll be fine now. The only thing is I just got to put bigger wheels on it, I think. Like they're 31s, I think I've got to go at least a 33. I've got a question for you guys. See these wheels just here? They're the original Pajero Limited or something rather. Anyway, they're the Pajero wheels. They're 15 inch by, I don't know, 8 or 10 or whatever they are, wide. And so they'll fit a 31, maybe a 33 tyre on it. So I'm thinking of putting 33s on it, new ones. Well, maybe new. Anyway, so I've got another set of wheels that will fit. They're an older style, which will probably match maybe the Jeep style. Anyway, so check these ones out. And then let us know whether you think these wheels would be better or those ones would be better. Because I can't make up my mind, and I was thinking about asking the wife, but it may or may not help. But anyway, I'll get back to doing some rust cutting and stuff. Actually, I'll take out that fuel cap before I go and weld this side here up, so then it's not in the way, and I'll just put a piece in there so no one ever knew it was there. When the side gets all painted and put a bit of light fill or high build or something, maybe even a Raptor coat. You'll hardly see anything. Now that we've got the sides to what we think is the right length, now we just got to do the tops, because they're a little bit different. Let me show you. Okay, this is what I mean. Someone has added on, like this is the original part of the top of the side, and then it goes out to that, like, I mean, that's about 27, 28 mil. This is 22. This is 30. Anyway, so it goes along this side at about 25, and then it narrows back down to the original 22. And we go over the other side. Here it is, 22, 22, and then it's 18. So someone's sort of just used whatever they had, which, you know, I don't mind doing the same, but anyway, so then it goes from this 18 right up to about 25. And then goes back down to 22, the original part. Anyway, so let's uniform it up a little bit. I've got some 20 mil RHS, you know, like rolled hollow section. It's square, not rectangular. I've got some on the shelf, so I'll go and grab it. And I will cut off all the crap, like all the way along. I'll put the blade all the way along and cut it off. And then we can sort of go along flat, shape it down and join up to where it's supposed to, and it'll all look the same, kind of. Anyway, let's get into a bit of that, and then before I weld it on, I've got to try and true it up again, because you can see there it's got a little bit of a bulge about halfway along. Not really a bulge, but it's leaning out. So we'll pull that in, and then I can weld all that new top rail in once I've cut it all to shape. So let's start the music montage and get into it. Here we go. that's got to go. Yeah, I think I might take that out as well. So I've tidied all the inside up, ready to put the new top rail in. It's all cut and tidied all the way around. Over there, down there. Oh, there's a bit of rust over there, so hang on, I'll show you what I'm going to do over there. Okay, so I've had a bit of a bog issue, and I had to finally dig it all out. And you can't quite see the depth of it, but it was pretty nasty. And I was ready to cut this out, because there's a couple of holes in it, and this big horrible step that somebody doesn't know what they're doing, I guess. It's not good. And I was ready to put this piece in, like I've just folded it and everything, or put a little fold in it. And to hold it steady, I was just planning to do this, put a couple of tacks there, so then I can cut it out and the body won't move. But I've just had an epiphany. An epiphany, you say? Yes, I say epiphany. Well, I had an idea because someone else told me. Does that mean it's someone else? Anyway, see the width of the wheel there? See how it's sort of hanging out the outside? Same with the front ones. So yeah, well, for a car to get registered in Queensland, you can't have the wheels hanging out that far. Why? I don't know. Anyway, so I either have to put flares on it or widen the body. Guess what I'm doing next week? I'm going to cut it down the middle. Anyway, if you haven't already, consider subscribing, and we'll catch you then when I cut it down the middle, the other way. We'll catch you on the next one. See ya.